go in then. Vivian Robinson. David Vivian Robinson, auctoritate mea et totius collegii praeficio te, alumnis Radliensibus, inter praefectos ducem. Jackson. Anthony Jackson, auctoritate mea et totius collegii praeficio te, alumnis Radliensibus. You will have heard with real shock, as I did, of the murder of a member of our council, our local MP, Airey Neave. That was not just a great blow to freedom in the country, it was a great blow to every standard of human decency that this nation stands for, and I hope you will have drawn the sort of conclusions that I think you should have drawn. He stood for integrity, he stood for courage, and he stood for a sense of public duty. And if all of us here can think about those three things, it will be a very important gain and step forward. Have a very good term, all of you, and get some work done. Thank you.
If there is one subject which stirs the emotions of the people, it's the public schools. They are loved, hated, honoured and reviled, and each new generation rewrites its myths and truths in a stream of articles, books and plays. Public schools have bent to the social winds, but one central feature has remained rock solid since the public school days of Tom Brown. Only 5% of boys go to these schools, but this 5% dominates every major institution in the country: the church, the law, the army, the civil service, government itself. For that reason alone, public schools are worth studying. Radley College is one of 470 public schools. It's 5 miles from Oxford, houses 600 boys, and charges nearly £3,000 a year for board and tuition. So it's safe to assume that few Radleyans are of lowly social origins. And just as Radley's parents are upper middle, so Radley itself is of that upper middle rank in the hierarchy of public schools, replenishing the professions from these halls with a well-rounded product, while producing the occasional oddball or high flyer. Peter Cook was at Radley, and a new boy in the 1940s was Mark Carlyle, the present Minister of Education, in a government pledged to spend public money on sending gifted but penurious pupils to schools like this. Summer term, the term of O-levels and A-levels, the term when wet bobs row, dry bobs play cricket, and senior boys leave this place forever. It's also the term when 20 13-year-olds join Radley College from their preparatory schools in the Shires. Radley has its own distinguishing peculiarities. Boys wear gowns, masters are called dons, and houses are called socials. There are 8, A to H. JMH Lovegrove is one of this term's crop of stigs, or new boys. He's about to take up residence in his new home, Sea Social.
Should we just wait for somebody to come? That'd be a good idea. Because we don't even know where to find your room. Ah, somebody coming.
Take upstairs.
Yes, do you know?
If you go to the top.
Right to the top of these stairs?
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's dormitories and there's landing. There's sort of 2 dormitories.
Right. Thanks very much indeed. And what happens? Would you like to go over there and see if you can see your name anywhere? No? It doesn't look like because of what? X. I don't even know.
For the next 5 years, he will spend more time in this house than in his own home.
Hello, yes. Probably met. Well,
I met him last term, yes.
In connection with music, yes, yes. And this is Mick Dean.
Social life in the social begins with a new boys' tea party, an occasion for parents to meet those who will be in loco parentis, dons, social tutors, sub-tutors and matrons.
No, not seen it before, in fact.
It's very agricultural and that's very kind.
What are your subjects?
Geography is mine, and
I'm a scientist.
Which kind?
Physics.
The tea party and the events of the next few hours are designed to dull the ache of separation and the loneliness a small boy feels when all around is alien and new.
Unfortunately, James isn't very much of a scientist, I think.
Oh, well, that's all right. Does he row?
Yes.
Oh, excellent, excellent. There are only 2 sorts of people, those who row and those who play cricket.
And you are, what, do you do some coaching or something as well?
Yes, I take it under 15-8.
But how do they begin? I know they have to pass a swimming
They
test.
begin very wobbly.
One man bound to make a lasting impression on the new boys, not only today but right through their school days, is the headmaster, the warden Dennis Silk, former Cambridge University and Somerset opening batsman and captain.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
James, you met?
Yes. And tonight we have a little session after the service in the chapel, where I say a little bit to you, to so-called wise words of advice, and then the senior prefect has a few words.
The real reason why James is coming to the social is we wanted a 4th cellist. We want to do a quartet for 4 cellos.
4 cellos.
There's only going to be one term that we have 4 cellists in the social, 2 leaving at the end of term.
We've got a special name for these roofing.
Don't mix your drinks. Anthony, what was in there?
That was the lemonade.
That was lemonade. I'll go and get the right thing.
Then when they get up,
One thing I must ask you is how do you pronounce Quainey? Quainey.
Q-U-A-N-E-A.
Which is your best game? Rugger. I bet you're a prop 4.
Well, I like to play number 8 most, but I'm best at, I think I'm better at front row, yes.
What do you do with your spare time at school?
Well, I've got a lot of things. I enjoy sailing a lot.
Do you sail in the holidays?
Yes, I do quite a lot of
Where
sailing.
do you sail? On the Broad?
In Cornwall mostly, because I'm trying to get a house down there.
I told him it would be lovely if we could actually have an occasional burst with his new organ broken down. He hasn't got one, but he's going to have a new organ. And the moment that...
left, but there's a little bit of extra.
All right.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right.
Good. That's great.
Remember to write letters, won't you?
Yes.
I've given you enough stamps.
James, you come around this way.
Left on his own, each new boy is allocated a nanny, a junior boy in the social whose job it is to teach the new boys the ropes.
Yeah, I've only just got back. I got back here about an hour ago. We've been around.
You've been down to Miss Lawrence?
Yes. Just say goodbye to my parents. I just started unpacking, but I got down halfway down the drawers and found somebody else's stuff's in there.
You're free to muck about, do what you want. I'll show you around a bit. Show you around who the HPs are, house prefect. 20 past 9, you've got to be in bed. And the HPs come round to make sure you are. And after that, that's it. And you're officially allowed to talk till 10, but usually it goes on for much longer than that.
That was Clark. Yeah, he's in one of the people. Oh, well. Is this all is in this one? Well, this is his, and I'm not sure whether there's someone down below.
Yeah. Yes. That's basically all it is. And I've got that, which is what you've got to learn for your STIGs test, which is, you're a STIG, by the way. I don't know if you knew. No, well, that's a name for a new boy. And those are the social colours for the ties. This is the one. And then all the names of the tutors, which is the masters of each house. Those are the pups, who are the heads of houses. And they're called pups.
And if we had a Range Rover...
What are you going to Range Rover? What do you think about it?
Never know what might happen.
I wouldn't ever risk this, it's not worth it. I've risked the heart actually, I didn't really care. This is Hall, by the way. This is where you'll meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. How much have you been given for what different things? I got 11 quid for just a jam account. Yeah. And have you got any for tutor, which you can take? You see, you have. I got £5, which you hand into tutor. And what do you want to say? You want to go to Oxford? He will hand out money. No, you go and say, can I have however much you want? And you said, you just give it to you. And you mark how much you've taken out. That tells you all the times when chapel starts. That's where you put your times in. So we'll find out where your first lesson is, what room, and I'll show you that, so you won't be late for the first one anyway. I know a couple of rooms, like room 4 is near the mansion. Yeah, had the French dictation.
How long was your boat, EJ?
27.
27? I can see why it's cramped.
There was absolutely no wind. And, we couldn't sail the first day. And there was so little wind that you had to really motor, full throttle to get there.
The new boys spend their first few terms in Social Hall, more commonly called the horse boxes. There's no personal fagging now, just general cleaning and charring.
It's fags. About every 2 weeks, you'll have a fagging duty which will be put up on the board. And you'll either have to sweep, this is called little end, or the other end, which is big end. You have to sweep one of them, or go and wash out one of the bars. You have to clean out gas rings.
Upstairs, will I? I'll go and sit down. I'll go and give him a hand with you.
God and Heavenly Father, look in love upon us, now once more gathered into the family of this school. Grant that, refreshed and renewed by the happiness and freedom of our holidays, we may take up our daily tasks with energy and joy, and grow in knowledge and wisdom and in love of you. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Praise ye the Lord.
The Lord's name be praised.
May I begin by saying how very glad I am to have you here at Radley. You may be wondering why I've asked to see you in chapel, and I think I ought to tell you why straight away. It's the place you'll be spending quite a lot of time in, not a great deal of time each day, but just a little bit of each day. And we do that because we regard this side of what we do here as the most important side of all. I'm not saying that we shall coerce you into any particular beliefs, but this school stands for, well, let me just say it, the Christian religion. And that's why I felt that the right place to see you was here, first time. Having said that, I'm not going to preach you a sermon, far from it. And what is important to me is simply this. I'm not going to talk about religious precepts, except for one thing, that the real religious life begins when you walk out of that door. It's how you treat each other. And if you can just remember one thing about that, remember this, the second commandment, love thy neighbor. And if you can be kind to people, that will be a tremendously important part of your Radley life. So remember that. And that's why I'm seeing you here in chapel. Some of you are blessed with great brains, and some of you maybe not. That doesn't matter tuppence. What matters is how hard you're prepared to try. And every fortnight, you will have a report card. It's just a simple cardboard rectangle, and all the subjects are reported on by all the masters, and I shall see that once a month. Your tutor will see it once a fortnight, and there's a little square by each subject for effort. And if you get a plus there, that is what it means, a good thing. So it's how hard you try that matters. And if you do happen to be blessed with a good brain, and some of you are very fortunate in that respect, much more fortunate than me, then use it to the full. And I want you people to build up one habit on that side, the habit of work. It's not a habit which is terribly common these days, but I want you to acquire that habit. Never hand in a prep that isn't not just finished, but well finished. You're going to find this one of the big differences in a public school Your fortunes are in your hands, so cultivate the habit of work. Let me get back to something not very far removed from what I was saying at the very beginning. One thing I attach enormous importance to is the courtesies we show each other. It matters to me very much that you people should be able to look someone in the eye and smile and say good morning or good afternoon or good night. Remember that. And it matters to me, all the little details. It matters to me that you should not speak to people with your hands in your pockets. It matters to me that you're smart, well turned out, that you've got polished shoes, that you've got your top button done up, all these little details. And I wonder how many of you have clean fingernails. These tiny little things make something that lasts, because you come to school for one thing, really, to acquire the right habits for life. And that's what I hope you will acquire here. And I wish you the very best of luck. And as I said at the beginning, I'm delighted to have you at Radley. Good luck, anyway.
You'll move on quickly, please. You'll hurry up. Usually, you've got to be in bed at 9:20, okay? Do you understand? It's relaxed this evening. Do you understand that? 9:20? Yep. You tell them, okay, please. Okay, thanks.
9:18. And if you really want it, 9 seconds as well.
Right, well. If you have that one, I'll keep that one as my pleasure on it. That's fair, mate.
How much of it did you manage to get through?
I finished it.
Well,
Housemaster Peter Leroy makes a point of being in the dormitory at lights out on the new boys' first night away from home.
Remain there while I go.
those are the last two in the whole...
It's more subtle than that.
Yes, good, yes. James, have you got some comfort?
Well, I haven't
How does it compare with Cumnor House, Betty?
I think it was.
Worse?
Sorry, but yes.
Soft in Sussex, I think, is what it is. What about Tom? How does that compare with Winchester House?
I'm just getting into it.
You're just testing it. It's better, is it? Yeah, it hasn't got a great valley in the middle.
Yeah, what was it like?
Nice mattress.
Cumnor House is a very soft place. It's all very easy and gentle, isn't it, there?
Yeah, it's in the top 4 beds.
Sussex and sort of sunny, yes, rather than the hardy Thames Valley. Well, gentlemen, try and sleep tonight. And the old lags, let them get to sleep.
Here.
9:29. Right, one more minute. Good. Right. What's your prep school like? Bad or good?
Oh, the prep school is boring. Well,
Is it really boring?
after a while.
And this place is... You think it's quite impressive, do
Yeah,
you?
super. Well, better than Winchester House.
Is it?
So,
It should be.
Better birds, anyhow.
OK, well, good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Mr. Goldsmith's lessons, real bomb site.
Oh, God. Oh, they are. You know, you got something.
That man is mad.
And he supports Ipswich.
And he gets really angry if Ipswich lose, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Pray Ipswich win the League Cup.
Right, everybody here. The first thing you do is to stand up when the dawn comes in, I may as well tell you. Your first day here, you may as well learn a few manners. Sit down. Now, what I think we'll do is to take names and see who's here. Is there a boy called Archdale here? Oh, yes. Tell me your initials, will you? Come along, you vile boy. This is your very first period at Radley College, one of England's greatest public schools, and you're late. Sit down. Now then, Archdale, what are your initials?
NEA.
Yes. NE what?
A.
Good heavens, you're only NE here. And what's your social?
G.
Righto. Beaver.
Yes, sir.
Initials?
PM.
Well, you're down as MP here.
No, sir, they got it wrong.
But how do you know they've got it wrong? How do I know you're not wrong? Are you sure you're PM?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's your Christian name, then?
I'm called Mark.
Oh, well, there you are, then. That's
Yes,
MP, then, you stupid boy. What social are you in?
G.
Oh, down as C here. Green.
Sir. TMC.
Yes. Social?
C, sir.
Yeah. Hamilton.
Sir.
Social?
D.
Initials?
EM.
Nagnow.
PJ.
Yes. Social?
A, sir.
Who's better at maths, you or your brother?
My brother, sir.
Oh, no, it can't. Your brother's one of the worst mathematicians I've ever taught here. Right? Love Grove.
JMH and C social.
Yes. Murdoch.
AD.
Yes. Are you better at maths than your brother?
No.
Are you more wicked than your brother?
Yes.
Pasteur.
MC.
And what is your social?
E.
Why is E the most famous social?
I don't know.
Does anybody know why E is the most famous social? Well, find out and let me know tomorrow, then.
At Radley College, summer term has just begun. On the previous evening, 20 new boys joined the school. They settled into their socials or houses, dined in hall, and were told in chapel by the warden, Dennis Silk, that the main purpose of their 5 years at Radley was to acquire the right habits for life. But the new boys have yet to meet their form master, the terror of the fourth, David Goldsmith, known as Goldie.
Come along, you're late. Right, everybody here. The first thing you do is to stand up when the John comes in, I may as well tell you. Your first day here, you may as well learn a few manners. Sit down. Now, what I think we'll do is to take names and see who's here. Is there a boy called Archdale here? Oh, yes. Tell me your initials, will you? Come along, you vile boy. This is your very first period at Radley College, one of England's greatest public schools, and you're late. Sit down. I think at a school like Radley, new boys are notoriously well settled in from the word go. And I think my approach to new boys is to make them part of the form straight away.
Do you think that they might find their first exposure to you a bit frightening?
I think some of them were warned beforehand. Yes, I dare say they are, but a little bit of a fright doesn't do them any harm. They soon know that my bark is worse than my bite. I've never really frightened any Hinton boy, to my knowledge. I went all the way up to Sotheby's to buy these chairs for you. Who knows what Sotheby's is? What? Yes, and they specialise in lovely antique furniture. These are lovely chairs that you're on here. You probably will never sit on anything like this again, and I will not have the legs weakened by hooligans messing around in them. And there are various tilts which I'll now describe. Stand up if you can't see these tilts, because you've got no excuse not knowing them. I'll just describe what they are. There is the forward tilt, which is like that. That's one penalty if you're caught. There is the backward tilt. The chap who does that, one penalty if you're caught. There is the sideways tilt, like that, one penalty. There is the diagonal tilt, where you tilt so that you're on one leg only, like that. I can hardly do that. I'm only on one leg. That, I may say, weakens the chair even more. That's 2 penalties. And the worst thing of the lot is the total collapse. The total collapse is where the whole of you and your chair thunder onto the ground. 4 penalties. Hands up those boys who are dry bobs. Oh, no. Last year, out of my form of 20, there were 13 dry bobs. Are there only 5, 6 cricketers here? I've never known a form like that in my life. What are you going to do, Levin?
I don't know what it means.
Have you ever played cricket?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it'd be good for you to learn how to play cricket. Take it back and start up a cricket club in Denmark. Hands up the dry bobs again. Well, let's hear your name so that I can get to know you. You're the only people worth having at all. Popperwell, I know. Yes? Are you a good cricketer?
Well, I don't really know.
Good boy, being a good dry bob. All dry bobs will get an enormous advantage straight away with me. Yes? What are you? Are you good at cricket?
Average.
Good boy. Yes? Keen cricketer?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. You ever played for England?
No, sir.
Have you been on an MCC tour or anything like that ever? Those who are wet bobs, I don't know what they do, and I don't care, but they do some vile stuff. It may be organised by your socials or something, but make sure you know what to do. Hands up those boys who know where you go at 1:30 today. Yes, you?
Central.
No, you don't, you vile boy. Not today, yes?
I'm the chaplain.
You go to the chaplain. And surprisingly enough, you go to chapel to meet him.
All the windows are given by other people. Some of them are very, very traditional and old-fashioned ones, really rather nice in their own way. I think the most exciting window in the whole of the chapel is this one. It's the one I sit opposite, because it's the only window, I think, with the exception of a tiny one up there in the gallery, which has got nothing in it at all. Now, if all these windows are full of saints and things like that, I think this is the window which is your window. Saints in the making. People like you who have just started here, not being terribly pious or goody-goody, I hope, but being useful and honest and courteous and the things that really matter. I'm rather glad there's no coloured glass in that, because that helps me to think about you and what you might become and perhaps pray just a little bit harder sometimes for you. Saints in the making. Remember that every time you walk past it and see what happens.
When the chaplain is finished with you, he will show you where to go, because you go and see the precentor. The precentor is the other word for music master, and he will test your voices to see which of you he likes the sound of and which he doesn't.
Right, let's hear what you sound like. Okay, right, jolly good, thank you. You don't like singing? I
Well,
actually
not
like
really.
singing. Let's hear what you sound like. Not too bad. Getting up there?
Can't.
You can't? Oh, let's have a lower one.
La.
That's almost.
La. La. La.
Getting up there?
La.
Ah, yes, okay, right, jolly good. Thank you very much. You sing.
No.
Heard worse.
Sorry,
That's it. Yes, you haven't got a bad voice, actually. Well, look, I'll have to see, and I would quite like you to sing in the choir if we can fit you in, because you've got quite a reasonable voice. Therefore, you can contribute a bit. Yes? What would you feel about that?
Wow. Don't mind.
You don't mind? Well, that's the right attitude. It's an open mind, anyhow. Remember always to be like that when you first come to a place like this, because all sorts of new things happen here.
I should expect everybody to be here, happy, cheerful, healthy, confident. I don't like to have new boys going shuffling round the place like this, frightened and dropping all their books and things, turning up late. I like to see my new boys in the summer term, happy, confident boys going around. Not arrogant, you don't own the place yet, you're all new boys. But I like you to be happy, cheerful, and know exactly what you're doing. Knowing you're in the best form, probably in Great Britain, and certainly in Radley. And confident, not letting down the side. Everybody know exactly what's expected of you. Righto, good luck, now you may go. Good day.
At the threshold of their public school days, a vast range of opportunities is open to these boys. A new world of activities, sporting, technical, intellectual, and artistic. But Radley's raison d'etre is not sport or extramural activities. It is academic education. And the new boys will spend a lot of time in the company of this man, David Goldsmith. A man of refinement and unusual skills, one of the minority who can understand real tennis, the ancestor of the game played at Wimbledon. As pupil or teacher, David Goldsmith has always been in education. From school he went to Oxford, and from Oxford he went back to school. Hurstpierpoint first, but for the last 29 years a master at Radley. He's a confirmed dry bob and was considered for years to be a confirmed bachelor as well. But a few years ago, Goldie astounded his colleagues. He wooed the warden's secretary. She agreed to become Mrs. Goldsmith, and now they have 2 children. But this radical change in his lifestyle didn't alter his teaching style, the roots of which are deep in his own childhood.
I think I'd always loved teaching. All my childish games, I was an only child, and I used to invent games with all my teddy bears, and I had a mark book with all their names in and all the marks they got, and produced fortnightly orders and all that sort of thing. I used to that was my favourite games when I was 8 or 9. Some people say a man in a condemned cell concentrates the mind beautifully, but I find that the Saturday mentals probably concentrate the mind better than anything else I've ever heard. It just happens to be what I think. Nothing concentrates the mind better. Right, number 1. Hello, phone numbers right down the opposite end. 1. 8. 2. 2. 2. 2, 2, 2. 8. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. That's all. It's very simple one. Number 2, subtract 4.5 from 800,000. This little tricks which I've developed as I've gone on. I think if you're going on teaching the same stuff year after year, it becomes so much more interesting if you can liven up your classes with a few sort of funny things, which even if they don't amuse the boys, amuse me. I think schoolmastering really is just acting. That's how I look at it. Number 14 coming up now. What's a half times 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 64? Yes. I've always been a great gambler. I love horse racing, and I naturally bring in horse racing questions into my weekly mental tests, and I expect boys in my math sets to know who's won the Derby and who's favourite for this and that race. Number 18, the chief race at that meeting is called the July Cup. What firm sponsors it? It's the something July Cup. Mm-hmm. And number 19, of course. I wish to know how many furlongs the July Cup is run over. Number 20, a question for the keen cricketers here. Which county in the Schweppes County Championship yesterday was all out for exactly 240?
Australia.
Which county made exactly 240? And number 21, which batsman recalled to Middlesex yesterday, opened the innings and made 137 runs? It's the surname I want. If you happen to know the Christian name as well, by all means put it in. Right, number 30, last question. How about point numbers right now and on to the end? 4. 4, 4, 4, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And another 8. And another 8. And 11. And 13. And 17. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. 18. And 2. 7. 7. And 7. And 7. And 7. And 7. And 7. And 11. And 13. And 1. That's all. Good morning. That's the end of the very famous. Change! As for Ipswich Town Football Club, if Ipswich win away, they get let off their next prep. If Ipswich lose at home, they get a double prep. Or if they lose any really important match. So therefore it's quite true to say that if Ipswich have a bad season, my exam results are good because they've done more work. Likewise, if Ipswich, as they usually do, have a really good season, then my chaps practically do no work at all and their exam results all suffer.
This is a code to be cracked. The answer is QPR v Ipswich.
It's the next letter. It wouldn't be the last one, I warn you. It's in a code, that is deliberately small. It's very clever indeed, and very toe-pico, I may say. It's a code. It's not an anagram, it's a code. So that's not a sensible answer at all.
Goldie is a great believer in rewards and punishments. He calls them bonuses and penalties. They get recorded in his mark book and go to determine the end-of-term order. So to top the form in Goldie's fourth, it's not enough to be a nimble mathematician. A boy has got to be well versed in cricket, football, and the turf.
There are several more letters to come there, but it's just the next letter. Oh, look at that. Make sure that other people don't look. Wrong. One penal.
So do we have to put the letter in code?
You've got to put the letter back in code. All you can do now, once you've been up with the wrong one, is to expunge, yes? What is that letter? I can't read it. You write it out again, then.
Oh, right, sir.
No, don't you look!
Oh, not a bar boy, sir. I was just turning my head away.
What, you mean that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, wrong again. There's 2 penalties. 2 penal ties. Sit down at once, you vile boy.
It won't work out, sir.
And of course it doesn't work out. Here comes another one bringing it up. Yes, come along.
You've been as usual.
Wrong, 1 penalty. What's your name, Ensign?
Can I just tell you?
No, you've got to have it written down, you impertinent boy. Yes? Right, that's finished. No point in coming up anymore. Too easy that, I'm afraid. Too easy. What was it?
And so the first day passed. As well as the chaplain and the precentor, there was Latin with Dr. Moore and French with Mademoiselle Corinne, the French assistante. And very soon the new boys were looking much the same as the not-so-new boys. If these new boys at Radley are here to acquire the right habits for life, there is one habit acquired very quickly, the habit of eating between meals. After breakfast, lunch and dinner in the dining hall, and after tucking into plates of tuck in the school tuck shop, at any opportunity, Radleyans will slip away to secluded gas rings for another fry-up. And it's at this time that each boy must ask himself an important question. It seems deceptively simple, but it's a very fundamental sorting of the sheep from the goats, and it'll have a profound effect on each boy's enjoyment of the next 5 years. The question he must ask is this: am I a wet bob or a dry bob? A dry bob spends his time on dry land, playing rugger and hockey in the winter and cricket in the summer.
Oh yes, especially for song for you, that one.
Dry bobs are people who like to express their individual flair. Wet bobs row. Radley is 1 mile from the Thames, and people opt to row for the joys of teamwork and moving as one well-oiled machine.
You can't get underneath. What have you achieved there? Come on, think about it. Get underneath.
Get underneath.
Both sides, stroke side. You're all on the wrong side.
All right, are you ready to stroke them right out?
Future, make sure the riggers are out of the water. Okay? Okay, keep your oars on the water as you go out.
Two, take a stroke when you can.
3 stroke exercises. That's 1, arms away, 2, up the slide, and 3, the stroke. Okay, we'll do that going downstream.
1, 2, 3.
Come on, get it right. You've got to concentrate, Tom.
Right, get ready. Come on, get into a line, into a usual circle, keep away.
One of David Goldsmith's most cherished duties is as coach of the Radley Third 11.
Yes, I know, all beautifully one-handed stuff, and I like to. Never think about catching. Ever. Oh, no. 20 million people will see that. You've got to catch another Seymour. Oh, yes. No one will see that because they'll have all switched off after the last miss. Warburg! Quickly, you've got him! Well done. O'Connell! Quickly, quick, get ready! Funny, well thrown, though.
It was now, after nearly 3 decades at Radley, that David Goldsmith was beginning to ask himself whether he forever wished to remain a big fish in a small pond. His kingdom, the 4th form, and the Third 11. He applied for the headship of a small independent school called Cokethorpe, and he was appointed Cokethorpe's head. This was to be his last term at Radley, and this was to be the last binge for his all-conquering Third 11.
Go on, drown it.
Yeah,
he had it earlier. Come on, look, this is disgusting. Come on, I'm going to take that from you now. Yes, I'm going to take that from you. You see if you can walk straight to me. I'm not going to... I've never seen so much better. It's all right for you. Well, you haven't got to live with him at night. He'll be screaming and shouting.
Realise, don't you, that all your aged great aunts will see.
Yes, it really is.
Is it nice, darling?
don't do one at all.
Yes, not be awful.
Yeah, that's... Hello.
Oh, very, yes. He's got to stay behind and work hard. And when does he take them again?
In September.
Where's she gone?
She's gone to Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
She's going to sell Time Life books on the telephone.
Can I ask everyone to raise their glasses to Jan and Goldie and wish them everything that's good in the future and give them our love?
Yeah.
Yes, everything. Everything.
Yeah,
How
many gins have you had?
None, absolutely none.
No,
Not a
very,
single
very
gin
good
that I have.
photograph
No, not one that I
of you
have.
at your wedding, but it hasn't got the cameras going.
I shall miss Radley tremendously. I've got an enormous number of very good friends here. I shall miss the things I do here. I shall miss teaching. I intend to do as much teaching as I can at Cokethorpe, but it'll be very different from the teaching that I've done here. I'll find this. Good Lord. Thank you very much. Some glasses. 1. 2. 3. 4. Thank you very much. I'm most touched. I shall think of... I shall think of you whenever I clean my teeth. I shall miss running the games that I do here. I shall miss the general common room life, which I love so much here. Community life. It'll be very different.
There is a school of thought that thinks that there are no more characters left in schoolmastering. There are no adherents to this view in the Radley 3rd 11 or in the 4th form. They have had the privilege of seeing the sub-warden at work at close quarters, fielding practice, what I believe is called a mental, a continuous self-inflicted hairdo. Strange noises emanating from him as he comes boom-chewing down covered passage. Will Radley, I wonder, ever be the same without DFG? It will not be the same without DFG. David Goldsmith's heart's blood has been poured into this place. A great teacher, I know it because I've sat in his class. A remarkable coach who could make very bad players become rather good players. An inflictor of nicknames that stuck, and here are a few of them. FLT1, FM Spiffkins, the Grubby Boy, the Bubok, and Sweatham. They will carry these names to the grave. Actor, mimic, punter, or rather student of the turf, singer, lawn tennis king, above all, tutor in the hard times.